What's going on, guys? It's Tom. I'm back with another video. Now, in this one, I wanted to give you some little budgetary information, a little food for thought, for you guys out there that are, you're thinking about coming here to the Philippines to live. You should be thinking about this, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys have you're thinking about, well, how much money maybe should I have in the bank, just kind of like in reserve and stuff like that, right? When I come here to live. Now, it kind of goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, is that you definitely, if you're coming here and you're an older guy, you know, you really should have some kind of an income. Okay. Now, whether it's your Social Security, whether it's a pension, like a private company pension, whether it's a military pension, whatever, you should definitely have some income coming in, right? And what's the ideal amount? Like we're sort of like the median ideal amount would be, to me, in my opinion, would be about $2,000 a month. Okay. So aside from that, okay, aside from that income, that monthly income coming in, you should have money in the bank, right? You should have a certain amount of money in the bank, right? And I just wanted to tell you on this video, especially, and this information would especially be for guys that are, sort of on the lower end, right? As far as the money in the bank. Like, let's say if you're only able to come up with maybe 50,000 USD or less, a little bit less. You wouldn't want to go too much less, but I mean, let's just say 50,000 and under in the bank. I will tell you this, the regardless of where you live in the Philippines, what island you're living on, what city you're living in, wherever, the first 6 months to a year while you're living here in the Philippines, the first 6 months to a year, you're going to be spending more money. You're going to go through more money than you think, okay, than what you may have planned for. Because you're planning just like, oh, I can live on this much a month, and you're not thinking about extra stuff, that's going to come up, especially in the initial period that you're living here. And without getting into details, I mean, it's just going to be different things for different people. But I'm telling you, it's a pretty good bet that you're gonna wind up spending more money in that first 6 months to a year than you thought. So there's one way to kind of avoid, sticker shock after you've been here for a year, and then you look back on, hey, what's my bank account now? You're keeping tabs of your how much is in your bank and all that, and then you're like, oh Jesus, how did I spend that much? Well, to kind of avoid that, right, or at least put a damper on that, I would advise you to, whatever that number is in your head, that safe minimum number. I would, if you can, I mean, maybe in some cases there's, some guys aren't going to be able to do this, but if you can do it, because this is all about planning now. You might be 6 months or to a year from coming here to live, right? So this would be a good video directed at those guys. I would say, put 10 grand more in your bank account. In other words, if that number in your head, that safe number is, for example, 40,000. Like, oh, I think I'll have $40,000 in the bank. I'll have 2,000 a month coming in income. Well, make it 50,000, for example. You know what I mean? Just add like 10 grand to whatever that number is. Whatever that minimum number that you can do is, add $10,000 to it. Because believe me, you're probably gonna spend that much more than you thought in the first year, possibly even in the first 6 months, but certainly within the first year. So that's basically what I wanted to make this video about. It's not a really long video. Just take my word for it. There's a lot of expenses that are going to come up that you just didn't plan for. You know what I mean? And they're going to they're going to sideswipe you. You know what I mean? So just take my word for it. If you can do it, add 10 grand to your account. I also wanted to talk briefly about There's some guys out there that are coming here and maybe they've never even been here before. This might help someone visiting, just, to visit on a trip, on a vacation or whatever. How to figure out the money, between the Philippine peso and the US dollar, for example, like how to figure it out. Well, I'll just give you the basics, right? Like 1,000 pesos is there's an easy way to figure this out, right? Like, okay, let's say right now the exchange rate's like 56, between 56 and 57, I think, right? Pesos to the dollar. But an easy way to think about it in your head is just think it's 50, right? Just to get your initial number and then you can adjust from there in your head. So in other words, 1,000 pesos is going to be $20 if the exchange rate is 50 pesos to the dollar, right? So, so just look at it that way, right? 1,000 pesos is $20, 2,000 pesos is $40, 3,000 pesos is $60, etc. 5,000 pesos is $100. But since the exchange rate is actually much better than $50 or 50 pesos per dollar, it's more like, 55 to between 55 and 57 is kind of where it's been, for a long time now, really. Just figure it this way. For example, in your head, you might say, okay, 1,000 pesos, that's $20. And then minus 10% as far as USD in your head. So just say, hey, 1,000 pesos is $20 minus 10%, which is $2. 10% of $20 is $2. So now you're at $18. So you're going to be pretty close because that would be approximately 55 pesos to the dollar. So, it's not going to be right on the money because it's probably 56 now, but just as an easy way to do it in your head where you can come up with a fairly accurate number when you're trying to adjust, like how much is that in dollars, because you're going to do it. You're going to definitely do it when you're visiting here, you know, and believe me, you'll probably do it even when you're living here. You'll do it for a while, for a long time. You'll do it. It'll just be a habit. Um, you'll just be thinking, oh, I wonder how much did I just spend in dollars? You'll be thinking that. So that's just an easy way to do it right now. The way the exchange rate is now. Now, if the exchange rate actually went down to actually, 50 pesos, well, then you just, basically like 1,000 pesos is $20. That's it. You don't have to minus any percentage, But it's been pretty steady above 55 pesos to the dollar for quite a while now. Okay. I think the first time I came here, it was a lot closer to 50. Back in 2015, it was like, it might have even been under 50. It was somewhere between like 48 and 52, but it was, again, right around 50. But lately, in the last several years, really, it's been a lot closer to like 55 and a little bit more usually, 56, 57. Last year, about a year ago, it got up to like 60, you know, which was incredible. That's as high as I've ever seen it, which is good for the US dollar or, for an American, right? The more pesos to the dollar is good for you or good for us. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell you guys about this, give you a little information. And that's really it, guys. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And share, if you know somebody else that might be interested in hearing this, you could share it with them. And other than that, have a great day. I'll see you later.